Okay, so to start off with, here's a histogram that we did during period 1. Um, period 4 did not quite get to the histogram, so we're just going to kind of leave that as it is. We're going to finish question 2 in class tomorrow, so we're not going to worry about that. We're also going to do questions 3 and 4 in class tomorrow. Okay, that way everybody has a chance to see these ones. Hopefully that won't take us the entire period. Great. So the only things that we're going to concern ourselves here are the multiple choice review questions. And they're not that bad. There's not that many of them. It says multiple choice, but there are a few of these that are short answer. And that basically means that I took off the answer choices so that you had to think a little bit more. Julie?
I have a question about scatter plots.
Yeah.
How do you know which to put as your x value,
Okay.
and what as your y?
So for a scatter plot, you want to have the explanatory variable in the x-axis.
These are ours, right? We can write on them?
Yeah, you can write on those. And then if the explanatory variable is on the x-axis, then of course the response variable is on the y-axis. Does that work?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, number 1, a survey records many variables of interest to researchers conducting a survey. Which of the following variables from a survey conducted by the U.S. Postal Service is categorical? So that's novel. They just want to know which one's a categorical variable. Okay. So we'll just go through these one by one. Number of people. That's a number, right?
Yeah.
So that's numerical, which is another way of saying quantitative. So we're probably going to be using those two terms a little bit interchangeably. Next one is county of residence. So a typical answer for that would be like San Bernardino County. Okay. San Bernardino is not a number, so this is categorical. That's, of course, the answer, part number B.
Yeah.
Household income. Again, a typical number for household, or typical answer for household income, that would be like, say, $104,000 per year. So that's actually not that bad. But 104,000, that's a number, so this is, again, numerical / quantitative.
Quantitative is just it goes on forever, right?
Doesn't have to go on forever, it just has to be a number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could it also be categorical if we're talking about low income, medium income, high income?
Yeah, if you change the responses to be low, medium, high, then absolutely, you've turned a numerical value into a categorical value. That's actually a good trick. Next, age of respondent. Age of respondent, typical number would be like 30, or typical answer would be like 34. 34 is a number, so this is again numerical, quantitative. And lastly, none of these, yeah, one of these was true. So, that's it. Okay? Number 2, a description of different houses on the market includes the following 3 variables. Which one is quantitative? I don't think I want to go through the entire thing again. So quantitative here, let's see. Actually, this is a trick question, isn't it? Square footage. Typical answer would be, let's just say, 60,000 square feet. That's a number, so numerical. Next one is monthly gas bill. Okay. Typical answer there would be like, $70. Actually, that's a lot for California. But $70, that's a number. So typical answer is numerical. Next, the monthly electrical bill. Again, monthly electrical bill, the typical answer here would be something like $190, which is good for a bill. That's a number again, So the answer here is numerical, quantitative. So I think the answer is all of these. Which I know how much you guys like all of the above answers. Yeah. You're gonna, if you don't like them, if you don't think you hate them yet, just wait till every test has them on every single problem.
So it's all of the above?
In college. You don't have to wait till college.
Class one. Why would you do that?
Wait, so the answer is D, right?
Yeah, the answer is D, all of these.
Yeah.
Maybe I should highlight the answer here.
No, you know what the good thing is? If you know that it's at least two of them, then you know that it has to be all of them.
That is true. That's very logical. Highlighter.
No, but sometimes like you just put like it's A, B, or C, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
put C and D.
Big
Like,
bio.
yeah.
How do you do that?
I got a 17. Like, yeah.
17. Is that a percent?
Yeah, I got broke.
Oh, 17 out of 20. That's it's 85%. Not bad.
Not a percent.
You know what Manny said one time? She's like, can you get sauteed onions?
I didn't call her
Like, in and
stupid.
out. What? You say sauteed?
I didn't say you were stupid.
I heard he started something else. Oh, okay.
What's sauteed?
My friend went to In-N-Out. You know how you can get grilled onions? She's like, can I get sauteed onions?
No.
Yeah, I think it's In-N-Out. I think you get the whole slice grilled.
You know what the best is? You get the grilled onions and raw chopped onions.
Yeah. That's what I got right now.
That's the best because you get the crunchiness and you get the flavor. It's so good.
Number 3.
All right. Number 3. The below is the histogram of gold-winning medal
Hi, Tara.
high jumps for the Olympic Games. And we want to know what percentage of these jumps were at least 7 feet. At least 7 feet. Which means we need to know a number here, right? The number of jumps. Seven feet. That's tough. I don't know what 7 feet is. How many inches is that?
84. It says on it.
84 inches.
What's 7 times 12? Come on.
Does it?
Yeah, it says
Mr. Freeman, can you acknowledge the fact that Sabrina's not in your class anymore and she still comes to your Olympics?
took me out of your class.
I figured that's what was happening. I'm very sorry.
I'm still gonna be
Why
here
did you
first
do that?
year.
Marion.
Because they're crazy. I have first year at home,
Uh-huh.
even though it's 0 here, and they said I'm not allowed to leave campus. But I have to be on campus first year. So I'm
Why?
here every morning.
Do you want to ask them if you can just TA in here?
They said there's no TAs in this class, and I just got TAs. I don't care.
So you can hang out. It's cool. You get the couch.
You're gonna have 2 staff classes and extra breakfast every morning. We'll have to do a workout.
Okay. Animal fractional.
Sorry, you ate it all.
I can't have those. All right. So, how many winning jumps are? Let's look at the bar heights.
Oh, so it's
How tall is that first bar from 70 to 75? It's about 15, right?
Oh, I was reading this one. I was reading this
What's the bar height from
one. Wouldn't it be 10%? Yeah.
75 to 80? How many?
It's like around 40.
It's about 40.
Yeah.
The bar height from 80 to 85? It's about 10, right? The bar height from 85 to 90? That looks like 25, right? And then 90 to 95, that's about 10 again, right? For a total of,
Oh, so we're adding them all up?
yeah, we're going to add them all up because we need a percentage.
But isn't the highest just at 40%?
We need a percentage. So we need to know how many total winning high jumps are there. And I'm adding this correctly. That's 10, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. That's 100, right?
Yeah.
About 100. Okay. How many of those winning jumps were at least 84 inches.
How many of them?
At least 84 inches. Those are the last two bars, right? At least 84 inches. They're talking about the last two bars.
So you add up the last two bars?
Mm-hmm. So in other words, we're saying that 35 of the jumps, 35 of the last 100 winning high jumps were 7 feet tall, 7 feet. Now that I'm thinking about that, that sounds like a crazy number. High jump, 7 feet.
That's actually like
That's not.
So the answer is
They don't
35.
trampoline. What do you mean?
They don't jump.
1
I
foot
think
isn't
the
like that
record-
much.
for like no, because like
Wait, stand up.
Okay, so like
basically
like
jump
two
over
of us.
bar.
Wait, how? You're 6'4"?
He's 6'2".
You're pregnant?
Okay, I didn't
So it's
I
like,
think the record's like 6'8".
But isn't it with that pole thing where they
no,
Oh.
high jump is without the pole.
So they just jump and then they measure it?
Yeah, well no, they have to jump over a bar.
Oh.
Okay, then that makes sense. I thought it
You have.
It's not that good.
Why did you get? What flavor did you get?
Wait, can you scroll back up to like 2 seconds?
It's red bean.
Oh, I had it.
We don't have that. Oh, we're doing the weird one.
All right, so do we kind of get this then? The 35 of 100 of the high jumps were at least 5 inches. That's about 35%, right?
I'm still eating.
Wait, isn't it more than that though? But I'm confused. Okay, if it says at least 85 inches and like the bars from 80 to 85.
Yeah.
How do you know that it's like some of the ones in that bar isn't in it? Do you just like disregard that? And you just
Yeah, I think given the information that we have, that's our best guess.
Okay.
So since it's at highest,
I'm gonna go this way.
I think because it's a multiple choice, you have to estimate. So whichever's closest,
so if it says at least, you add up all of them?
you add up the ones that qualify as at least bigger than or equal to. So 35 out of 100 is 35%. Okay, and again, that's an estimated. So you got to pick the answer choice which is closest to your estimate. Julia?
If this question came up on the test, would it always like equal to 100?
No.
So is there a typo on the
No.
was 3.37
3.37?
for number 3?
No, it says 37%.
Sorry, I got 3.
That's what I figured, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Any questions on 3? Yeah.
Still writing it.
How come we don't include the bars at the 84?
We have no way of knowing how much of those is above 84. So basically what I'm saying is your estimate is 35. The real answer should be something just barely bigger than 35. In fact, you could probably estimate it's going to be somewhere between 35 and 45. Okay? Closer to 35. Okay, so again, actually that was a really good question. What about those ones that are above 84 but less than 85? Okay. And the idea here is because you have to estimate, you know that the correct answer needs to be a number greater than 35. Not that much greater than 35, but greater than 35. You also know that the number needs to be a number less than 45 because that middle bar is 10. So in other words, 45 of the winning jumps were greater than 80. 35 of the jumps were greater than 75. I'm sorry, greater than 85. So the percentage that are greater than 84 should be somewhere between 45 and 35.
So how it outputs.
Yeah. That's around, and based on your estimate, the number is probably closer to 35 than 40. Okay?
But if we write down 35 on the test,
This is from a multiple choice, remember?
So like if we had a choice between like, would we have a choice between like 36 and 37? Or
No.
It would be like much different.
No.
than that? Okay.
It'll be much different.
Yeah, 'cause that would be.
That would drive me crazy, personally.
Yeah. I would kill you.
You'd kill me? What? That's not even funny. How? You've been in the class for like a month and a half and you're already ready to kill me. That's not-
No, if that was an answer.
Not even a month and a half, like a month. Less than a month.
No, I think it's been like
It's been a month?
month and a week, I think.
I wasn't in your class the first week or two.
A month.
Ooh, I've never seen that Goku's ghost secret.
It looked like that.
Yeah,
Is it new?
No,
I've had it since, I think, April.
no, you didn't.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you
I'm
put it up
not
in April?
perceptive.
I got it in April.
I'm not perceptive at all.
No, because he didn't put it up.
I didn't put it up.
Yeah. Did you just put it up?
I just put it up.
Sharon.
Okay, the number of burglaries in December 1989, the last date recorded in the time plot is about, now again this is another estimate thing, the last date recorded in the time plot would be the very end on the right, yeah?
Yeah.
What is that, somewhere around 22 maybe?
Yeah, I think pretty big.
Estimated around 22.
Right, yes, copies.
Read the end of the time plot. Which is at about 23 burglaries.
Is that just, you know how to read the graph?
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, another question would be about how many burglaries were on, January 1988.
Okay. Yeah.
Could be any of these dates. Number 5. Which of the following is a true statement? Wow, you have to read all of them. Awesome. The number of burglaries each month in 1988 were lower than the number of burglaries each month in 1989. Was there any month in 1988 where it had more burglaries than a month in 1989?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's hard.
Yeah, there's that one spike
Oh, yeah.
right around October. Yeah, that one spike in October that's above December 1989. So yes. That one, so that one is false.
Oh, that's more.
October 88 had more burglaries than December 89. Burglaries is a funny word. Yeah. In 1988, there were more burglaries than there were in 1929. That's funny.
How did you find out October? Like, did you just
I estimated. B. The median number of burglaries in 1988 was a little over 25.
No.
I don't know.
Well, what did you have?
So that would mean half of the burglaries are above 25 and half the burglaries are above 20 or below 25.
Down.
No, more than half are.
Yeah, it looks like more than half of the burglaries are above 20.
Do you have to calculate
Yeah.
the median?
Not yet. Next chapter.
Oh, okay, so.
I'm sorry. It looks like more than half of the months in 1988 had fewer than 25 burglaries. Okay?
wait? reading this graph. How do you know where 88 starts and where 99 starts?
Draw a line.
Yeah, if you draw that vertical line up from January 1988 and then up from January 1989. Oh my God, it's a volleyball party.
Hi guys.
Hello.
I mean, no, even time
I still don't get how you know this one is false. Like I know that it's false, I just don't get how.
Draw a line.
By 25.
Yeah, vertical or horizontally across 25.
Okay. All of them are under 25.
And is about
and then it's saying that
half the line
half of
above
them
25
are,
and half below.
But it's only between 1988 to 1989.
Oh, that's
Okay, that makes sense.
Let's do that actually. Let's take a look at that. Where is that?
That's it.
Let's take a screenshot of this. Maybe I can show you what I'm talking about. And let's crop. Where's crop? Anyone see crop?
No. Edit.
yeah, you can do that.
Why don't you just make a
Where?
box thing on it? Yeah, it's already just it's already.
Go with it. Tools.
No, let's try this again.
Why don't you just take a picture of that one part?
I did.
No,
Just of the graph instead of copy.
Delete. There we go. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use this screen clip thing. Where's that clip?
Yeah, that's good. I don't know how to use
There we go. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna only look between 1988 and 1989. That's not that good of a thing. We have to look somewhere between 1988 and 1989. I don't have any more printed up. Sorry. So we're looking between 1988 and 1989. And we're also looking right around 25. Okay. So if this was truly the median, then about half of the burglaries should be above 25 and half the burglaries should be below 25. And why is this thing, am I snapping to the grid? Much better. All right, so if this was truly the if 25 was truly the median, then about half of the year should be above the line and half the year should be below the line. Does that look true? Really?
No.
There seems to be a lot of this underneath
There's
the
more
line
above.
than there is above the line.
No, he's right, guys.
He's right, guys.
Gosh, I hope I'm right.
He's is.
It does seem to me it looks like more months are below the line than above the line. So 25 can't be the median. If it was the median, then about half of the line, half of the burglaries should be above that, and about half the burglaries should be below
We
it.
would be able to tell if it was half. Like we wouldn't have to question if it
Yeah.
was or not.
Yeah.
But really feel free to draw on all your tests because you can write on all of it.
So we should do that for the.
You should absolutely do that.
The dot. This is a dot time plot.
This is a time plot, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, looking in only 1988. The maximum number of burglaries in a month. Where is the maximum in 1988?
34.
Right about here, right?
Yeah.
That looks just about around 35, 34.
Yeah.
So the maximum number of burglaries.
For the test, you put 34, 35.
Yeah, it's going to be multiple choice. That part's going to be multiple choice. So the maximum number of burglaries
That was 5C.
Right. Yeah.
is the highest point in 1988 to 1989.
Is it asking for that or just stating that?
It's asking for that. The maximum number of burglaries. So we look for the highest point in between January 1st, 1988 and January 1st, 1989. It's this one right here. And that's about 34 burglaries.
One question.
Yeah.
For number 5, the answer was C. You didn't do the answer.
Yeah.
Oh, which one was true? Yeah, we didn't get to that yet. You're right. I'm sorry.
That's what I was on.
It's good. 34 burglaries. Let's highlight that right here. And we'll go back. Yeah, I forgot that we had more to do here. More to do. Okay, let's finish this up. Letter C. The total number of burglaries in 1989 was higher than the total number of burglaries in 1988. That's kind of tough. But if I take a look at 1989, there is definitely more area underneath 1989 than there is underneath 1988. If you're in calculus, you kind of understand what I'm saying, right? Okay. The total number, if I added all of these really big numbers together, I should have something else, something that's bigger than if I added all of these together, right? So in other words, there were more burglaries in 1989 than there were in 1988. Okay? So how can we describe that? We can say that the points, the number of burglaries in each month of 1989 are, on the whole, greater than the number of burglaries in 1989 is greater.
Oh, the high one.
Maybe you should grab mine. Maybe you should have two hands.
Okay, are we good with this then?
Yeah.
All right. This was number 6. Okay, any questions so far? Yeah, 5 was C. Okay, let's move on to 7. A professor records the values of several variables for each student in her class. Which of the following, another categorical versus quantitative question, huh? Which of the following is categorical? Let's see. A, score is a number, right? A typical response for score would be a number. B, a typical response for the final grade is a letter. That's categorical. Let's go through the rest of these. The total number of points, typically that's a typical response there is a number, right? So that's numerical. The number of lectures a student misses, a typical response there is a number again. So that's numerical. So the only one that's categorical, the only one whose, quote, typical response is a,
Bless you.
Thank you.
is a, not a number, is final grade. Okay. So final grade is the categorical. I like that phrase, typical response. Is the typical response going to be a number, or is the typical response going to be a category? The ocho. When drawing a histogram, it is important to have separate class interval for each observation to get the most informative plot. That means that if I have 28 answers, then I'll have 28 bars. I don't think you want to do that, right? You want to group data that belong together. B, make sure the heights of the bars exceed the widths of the class intervals, so the bars are true rectangles.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
If it's
No, but like if it's high, I mean if it's
if
like a
it's
small
lower,
number.
it'll still be a rectangle.
Yeah. Label the vertical axis so the reader can determine the counts or percent on each class interval.
I think that's right.
That's
I think you do want to label your graph. And D, make certain the mean and median are contained in the same class interval. So the correct number, we don't even know what that means, right? Yeah, you will, hopefully. Yeah, the correct answer is C.
So I think we should put whatever you don't understand. That's not
Whatever
the
you
right
haven't
answer.
learned.
Yeah.
That's not always going to be true. C,
Shut up.
yeah, labeling the graph.
Oh yeah, when you see bar graph, you guys look up.
no when you see
Number 9, 9 and 10. Each of the two histograms represents a distribution of acceptance rate, the percent that are accepted, among 25 business schools in 1995. The histograms use different class intervals but are based on the same set of data. In each class interval, the left endpoint is included but not the right. So which one of these is going to tell me what percent of schools have a pass rate less than 20? First one or second one? First one, good. The first graph, let's see, how many have a pass rate less than 20? That's 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The first two bars are 3 and 1. So 4 out of the 25 schools have a pass rate less than 20.
Wait, I'm confused about the bar graphs. The bottom is the percentage that they pass.
The bottom is the percentage that they pass, yeah.
Okay.
So in other words, if, USC Business School,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So this is 2 bars.
How did you know that the first one is the one that represents greater than half of the observation?
One more time?
Is that what you're doing? Are you doing 9 already or?
9, yeah.
Yeah, how'd you know that the first one is the one that represents greater than half of the observation?
Well, you can get that same information from the second bar graph, but it's kind of difficult to read the second bar graph.
Oh, so they're the same graph?
Yeah, it's the same information
Okay.
given to you in 2 different graphs. One of them,
Bless you.
How'd you know to pick 20 though to look at?
because they're asking what percent have a acceptance rate less than 20.
So that's, oh, okay. So you're adding.
Yeah. So 4 out of 25 is approximately equal to, no, it's not approximately equal to. It's 16%, right?
Wait, there's 20.
Yeah, let's do it.
Wow, bar actually created me an idea. Look at that.
No one turned it around.
No, you gotta be serious.
Okay, so one of the things that makes this question confusing is we're using a percent to measure a percent. So remember what we're doing. We have, they're telling us 4 out of 25 schools have a pass rate less than 20.
So we're gonna look at the first graph.
Yeah. The first graph is a lot easier to read than that second graph.
Which interval contains
Wait.
fewer than half of the observations? I don't know what it's asking.
Okay. So now we're going to ask, what interval contains fewer than half of the observations? How many observations do we have? Well, it says 25, right? 25 business schools. So we're looking for some combination of bars that has less than, or that represents less than 12 and a half schools. 12 or under, right? So let's take a look. 20% to 35%. How many schools are in the range from 20 to 35%? 5 in plus 3 plus 5. That's 13 schools. Maybe I should clip that one again too. Let's clip that one and take a look at it. Shoot.
You're on 10, right?
Yeah.
So here's some.
Clip.
Which interval contains
Okay. So can we write then how many schools have an acceptance rate between 10 and 15%?
30. One.
Just one school has an acceptance rate between 10 and 15%. Where is, yeah, just one school. How many schools have an acceptance rate between 15 and 20%? 3. How many have an acceptance rate between 20 and 25?
Wait, yeah, I'm so confused.
Okay, this is 25 and that's 30. How many schools have an acceptance rate between 25 and 30? How many have an acceptance rate between 30 and 35? How many schools have an acceptance rate between 35 and 40? How many schools have an acceptance rate between 40 and 45? How many schools have an acceptance rate between 45 and 50? 2.
So we add those.
Okay. That should add up to 25.
And that's how you figured out from 9? That it was out of 25 schools?
Tells you, was it the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can add.
Number 10. They're trying to figure out which of these intervals contain less than half of the observations.
Less than half is gonna be like 13.
Yeah. Less than half of the observations would mean 12 observations or less. There are 25 observations. Half of 25 is 12 and a half. So somewhere between 1 and 12.
So they're saying from where down is less than half, or is half of it?
Yeah, half of the total number of observations. So if you look at that first one, the acceptance rate is between 20 and 35.
So that's
Well, how many schools have an acceptance rate between 20 and 35?
15.
8.
13.
Well, no.
20 and 35.
13.
13, right? Is 13 less than half of the schools?
No.
That's
No,
more than
that's more than half the schools.
Oh,
Okay.
So 25 to.
So part number A, that's 13 schools, not less than half. B, we're taking a look at somewhere between 25 and 40.
That's also 13.
Between 25 and 40, that's 5, 10, that's another 15 schools. That's 13 schools again, right?
Yeah.
That's not less than half. C,
Yeah, that's like not even.
C is 22.5 to 37.5. Now, I didn't even have a good way of testing that, or do I?
No.
Yeah, by eliminating.
You could
the-
estimate the second one.
Yeah, but you never know.
But if you estimate it, then one of them is gonna be.
Let's take a look at the last one, D. We'll save the C to the end.
Mhm.
Let's take a look at D. Somewhere between 30 and 45.
Yes. 11.
Oh no, 11.
30 and 45. That's 5, 10. That's 11 schools, right?
Like, I understand how you looked at it because of how you're saying it now, but having like 20, 35 is right, but it's written weird. Like, if I thought this
Yeah.
one said 20% is equal to acceptance rate less than 35, I wouldn't have understood to look
Yeah.
between 20.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You're right. That the way that's phrased is kind of difficult.
So on the
Um,
test, would you like over that?
You'll know.
Oh, well, now I'm not.
Right.
difficult to compute. Return later. Okay. Ooh. Any questions on 10? Okay. 11. When creating a scatter plot, should you use the horizontal axis for the response variable? Ooh, Julia knows this one. Should we use the horizontal axis for response?
No.
No. Should we use the, so maybe we should write this down. A, no.
That means E is no too.
The horizontal axis is explanatory. B, yes. C, again, we're going to go through all the answer choices. C, use a different plotting symbol depending on whether the explanatory variable is categorical or whether the response variable is categorical. That's kind of nonsensical. D, use a plotting scale that makes the overall trend roughly linear. No. Some of them, not all of them. Always use a linear scale.
Every 2 weeks.
I don't know if you guys, I think you could do it in, sometimes in physics, sometimes in chemistry. They make you plot using an exponential scale. Have you done that before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was exponential paper. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
That's so annoying.
Yeah. Good news is in math class, or at least in stats class, you don't want to use a linear, you always want to use a linear scale for your graphs. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're lucky.
All right, 20
12.
12A is really fun.
Okay, consume.
You're going so.
His face right now.
Why is it funny?
What do I need to do?
It's okay. Just continue. I'm just like falling really behind.
Okay, I can give you a little time. It's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah, we'll hang out here for a second.
Do you want to?
I have
Okay, I'm still on.
Look, finish.
chicken tarna wrap.
Where's that from?
Zanku,
I've never been there.
you should go.
It's like right here too.
And who?
It's
Zanku.
really good. It's like
You don't have to go to Glendale anymore.
That's good.
I never really
What is
Glendale.
it?
It's like right next to Ryan.
Why would you go to Glendale?
Oh, the one. Okay, yeah.
I don't understand.
I'll explain it to you a little later, okay?
Why do you have to go to Glendale?
Because that's where there's a Zanku. Actually,
what
there's
type
one in
of
Hollywood
food is
too.
it?
Always
Well, there's this. Zanku's always been here.
No.
I've been going there since I was a kid.
Yeah, the thing is like
I remember when they built it.
well,
Maybe
you've
like
been
4
here
years
before.
ago.
Wait, but have you been?
I used to have to go all the way into Hollywood if I wanted to take a
Westwood.
Wait, what type of food is
There's
it?
one from Zanku.
He
Wait,
goes
there's one in
to
Westwood.
Wait, next door. What type of
Last
food
year
is
we
it?
took 2 hours. We really good.
Like a rotisserie chicken. But that's
For what?
I remember like one day you were talking about like going 2 hours like just to get lunch.
Why did you go to the one in
Yeah.
Westwood?
He does it all the time.
There used to not be one in Westwood too.
Well, the one in Santa Monica and Westwood.
No, wait.
Santa Monica and Westwood. When you exit the freeway on Santa Monica. Right there.
How long has that one been there?
I think it's a thing.
You'll go 2 hours away from food. That's true.
Ah.
That's how much you love it. That's how you know.
Okay.
So I have a question. For number 11 for C, why did you just write nonsense?
Because that sentence doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so is this still multiple? So okay. Oh, so this is still multiple choice.
Mhm.
So for number 10, what's the answer?
D.
11 schools less than half. And then for number 11, what's the answer?
B. And you okay? Okay. The way that the answer choices there are phrased is kind of confusing. That's all. Okay, 12.
Oh yeah, hey, it's funny here. I just read it right now.
Consumer Union measured the gas mileage in miles per gallon of 1978 to 1979 model automobiles on a special test track. The pie chart below provides information on the country of manufacture of the model cars used by the Consumer Union. So basically, this has nothing to do with gas mileage. This is just the country of origin for the 38 cars. Based on the pie chart, we can conclude. Well, let's take a look at that first. Most of the cars in that the 38 test of 38 cars, most of those cars come from the U.S. In fact, you can say more than 19 of the cars come from the U.S., right?
Yeah.
Other than that, other big slices of the pie. Japan, there's a lot of... That looks a little less than 25% of the cars come from Japan. Somewhere about 20% of the cars come from Germany. And then smaller portions come from Sweden, France, and Italy. With Italy being the smallest, the least number of cars in the 38.
Can't you say it's kind of equal to France, though?
It looks smaller to me.
No, it's smaller.
Okay.
All right, A. Japanese cars get significantly lower gas mileage than cars from other countries. That's because their slice of the pie is at the bottom of the chart.
I don't know what that means.
You notice how Japan is at the literally at the
How funny.
6 o'clock?
They're saying it literally.
Like they're like.
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
It's the lowest.
It's literally at the bottom of the
That's
chart.
why.
Yeah.
Therefore,
They're saying they're lower
Oh,
because
lower
they're at
because
the
it's
bottom.
lower. Oh, I thought
Yeah.
it had something to do with
So that's not the answer.
yeah, that's kind of
That's
A 2-year-old would understand that.
too literal of an answer.
Gibberish.
Also, it's a Japanese car. It's probably not getting lower gas mileage. Probably.
High school student to bar graph.
B.
You know what I mean?
Okay. So two things wrong with A. Number one, hey. Two things wrong with A. Number one, that thing about this pie slice being at the bottom of the chart doesn't matter at all. And B, this chart tells you nothing about gas mileage.
But it doesn't really explain it in the beginning like that well. Like the pie chart is just for
Yeah, it
the
says-
cars
it says
manufactured.
in
the
this
beginning,
pie
we're
chart-
talking about them.
It's tricking you.
That's true. That's true.
It's not a whole.
You tricky.
That's very nice. That's
It says
good.
the
Oh
pie
yeah,
chart
the
provides
miles if you're
information about the
numerical.
country
So
manufacturer.
does that mean that like pie charts are mostly for quantitative?
Unless it says
Categorical.
percentage.
Categorical.
Always categorical.
If it was percentage, it would say U.S. this many percent, right? Okay.
All right, next. U.S. cars get significantly higher gas mileage from the other cars. Again, we have no way of telling gas mileage from the chart. This only tells us about the number of cars from not even the number, the percentage of cars from different origin countries.
Same thing with C.
C. Swedish cars get gas mileage that are, okay, again, we can't tell gas mileage from this chart. D. Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and BMW represent approximately a quarter of the cars tested. Now, I know that people are going to try to figure out Porsche means, I don't even know, where Porsche, is that
Germany.
France.
See,
Audi,
that was
Porsche.
France?
that's what my question is. If you
Mercedes.
know,
Audi.
I know that people want to do that,
but like, what if you don't know?
but
Audi are the same company.
You're not gonna need to. That's why
you shouldn't have to do that.
So if you don't have to like figure out information on your own, like
I don't study cars.
okay, because like if I don't know that and that's on the test, I can just know I don't.
It's not going to happen.
If it's outside information,
If it's not about statistics, it won't be tested on. Lastly, more than half the cars in the study were from the U.S. Yes. The U.S. pie slice is definitely bigger than 50%. It's definitely bigger than half of the pie. Okay?
Mary. This one's about you. Number 13's about you.
13. Two more. We can do this. Two more. The following is an ogive. Okay, now take that word ogive and substitute it with cumulative relative frequency plot. Substitute the word ogive with cumulative relative frequency plot. The word ogive is a lot easier than saying that mouthful.
So that how you write it on the pen? You write ogive on the pen.
I'm gonna
Relative what?
never gonna write the word ogive again.
Relative what? Relative what?
Relative cumulative frequency plot.
Cumulative relative.
No, we're deciding now.
Cumulative frequency plot.
We gotta take the pen.
They haven't posted the dates yet, but it probably, don't kill me if it's not, but it's probably going to be on the 9th of June.
So it's a grade out.
So wait, when's graduating? 6?
The 4th.
Our
So
graduation.
5 days after.
Yeah, so it's gonna be the 5th
It's the Tuesday. It's the same
It's
thing.
always on Tuesday.
It's the same thing that they have this year, just a day
I'll be out of town.
like for the night.
Did you come
Did you want to
last
go to
year?
grad night?
Did you
Are you going to
exhaust?
concert? Are you going to concert?
I have nothing planned.
You're just saying that. Wait, do teachers hate going to senior events?
I don't hate it.
You go to some.
Because you guys get like free food and stuff.
Not always.
So you don't?
Okay, let's finish this up. The following is an ogive of, a relative cumulative frequency plot on the number of alcohol consumed per week in a sample of 150 students. A study wishes to classify students as either light or moderate, heavy, or problem drinkers by the amount of consumed each week. About what percentage of students are moderate drinkers, which is consuming between 4 and 8 ounces per week? Okay, you need to remember that the points here tell you how many are less than or equal to. Okay. So let's see, let's go to 4 and then go up to the line. 4 is about 20%, right? Okay, so approximately 20% of students in the sample drank less than, we said 4, right? Okay, next. Approximately how many are less than 8 ounces? 8 is about at 60? That's 60?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
So approximately 60% of students in the sample drank less than 8 ounces. Okay. Can we cobble that together and figure out what percent drank somewhere between 4 and 8 ounces?
Can't you just
You would just subtract, yeah.
Can't you just think about it like this? Like 20, like under 20% would be light drinkers, and above like 50 would be higher drinkers. So like between that would be like moderate would be like 40. So.
Yeah, but that's not really what the question is.
Oh, okay.
The question is saying what percentage of it.
Okay.
Okay, so for example, when we said 20% here for less than 4, that corresponds to, let's see, 150 students. 20% of 150 is 30 students. So 30 of the people in the survey said they had less than 4 ounces. Okay. Likewise, 60%, 6 of 150, that's 3, that's about 90 students.
Is this the last question?
Okay, one more.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Is it open?
I don't think
If
it's open.
it's unlocked, oh wait, no, you locked it. Okay.
No, it makes sense because you just have to
So, therefore,
look. Just isolate this layer.
That's what I did.
Yes, and then so you just do. So you see. So what did I do? So yeah.
40%,
Or just like
therefore, about 40%, wow, 40% are somewhere between 4 and 8 ounces.
That seems about right.
Okay? Any questions on how to work with the relative cumulative frequency plot?
Nope.
Lastly, the following is a histogram showing the actual frequency of closing prices on the New York Exchange for a particular stock. Based on the frequency histogram,
I don't get this.
the class that contains the 80th percentile. 80th percentile means that less than 80%.
How do you?
But, like, what
80th
do you know?
percentile.
What is the percentile? Like, what do you know what the axes are? Like, the axes
Yeah.
are? It doesn't say.
Is the
We'll get there. Hold on, hang on. Let me just write this down, okay? 80th percentile means 80% of the observations lie below this number.
Below 80.
Well, we don't know what the number is yet. Okay, we got to figure out where 80% of the observations are. Okay. All right. So let's see. How many observations do we have? A total of. Let's see. 13 plus
8,
plus
15,
plus.
7, 2, 1.
So there are a total of 50 observations. Okay.
Wait, why is it 2-1 but then? But isn't that after?
No, he's just doing the total
Oh.
of all.
Total of 50 observations. Okay. If you're in the 80th percentile, see 80% of 50 is 40, right? Okay. That means 40 of the observations are below the 80th percentile. Tough question. 80th, okay, so where would 40 observations be below which number? Are 40 observations below 10? No.
Yes, it's
No. There are only 13 observations below 10.
Oh, I don't understand that. I don't understand what the graph is. Like, what's
It's closing price, $10.
I was
Huh?
asking him how.
Closing price of the stock, $10
So the bottom is the price?
is the price, yeah.
The bottom is the price. Do we have to figure that out?
Yes. All right. What percentage of the stocks of the closing are less than $20? 21. Is 21 40th percentile?
Oh, no.
No. What percentage of the stock of the times did it close below $30?
36.
36? Is that 40%? No. How about let's add 7 more to that? That's 43, right?
Yeah.
So 43 times out of 50, the stock closed less than $40, right? And that's greater than 40 now, right? In other words, the 40th stock from the bottom is somewhere between 30 and 40.
Yeah.
Yeah? The 40th
Wait, did she say 30 and 40?
Are we gonna do some of the free responses tomorrow?
tomorrow. Yep.
Am I taking you to your talk? No, please. No, I'm not scared, dude. I'm going on a walk. So I'm probably gonna go that way.
You're welcome.
You wanna walk?
Okay.
Would you rather walk or?
You're very welcome.